day 71 of 365 days of remembering realizations, both being such appropriate concepts to describe this idea of coming into a piece of something, whether it's a taste of an experience or a concept or a thought that just resonates so deeply that it activates something within that can't ever not be active anymore. That's so fun. And so today I've been on my walk just having some really interesting conversations with myself. So I don't exactly know what the title of this video is going to be yet, because it is going to flow into being, which is how I like to flow. So if you like that style of video that I produce, where I just kind of step out of the way and let flow come through, then please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell for notifications so that when flow and inspiration hits me, you'll be one of the first ones to know. I share from my own experience. I share from my own being a explorer on this illusory space, figuring things out for the fun of it, for the understanding of it, and for ultimately the expansion of not only my character, the evolution of my character, so to speak, but the expansion of my soul. And that is, in essence, what I want to talk about. So this morning I was chatting with my partner, Frank, about sort of this idea that enlightenment has gained some traction, you know, this notion of moving into this oneness with God, this state of bliss, and how it's been sort of held up as this thing to reach for. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I also think that there is a little bit of irrelevance in that to most people, meaning that they came for a different set of circumstances, experiences, evidenced by the world around us, the time space that we are living in, filled with so much duality, so much contrast, and there being a strong belief that so many beings are lining up to come into this illusion because it, in its contrast, brings so much catalyst, which serves to bring us closer and closer and closer to an understanding of who we are, to sort of bring all of infinity into a space, which how could there be an all of infinity? It sounded funny as soon as it came out of my mouth, but to bring it all back into the purest clarity of itself as the one, as everything, as every possibility and potentiality. But in that, knowing the unrealness of it all, which is what helps it. So anyway, that sounded really confusing. But where I'm going with this is the thought I had. So what if it isn't true for most of us that we are here to just kind of merge our way back into oneness as quickly as possible? That we actually came with some themes, as Bentino Massaro says, we came each with sort of an engagement in the collective consciousness, a piece of that puzzle that we stand as and represent and are helping to shift the energy of. Isn't that cool? So as a whole, we're all working on that. Then if you go a deeper level, there is no outside of me whole, in the sense that every other aspect that I see is in essence me. So we're all in essence up-leveling our one consciousness, and the oneness concept comes back. But to keep it real and to keep it fun, a really cool concept that I've been playing with, and I do know that it's only a concept and it's only a construct, and that those are often deconstructible and can be easily seen through, but it really helps and it really, really excites me. So that's why I'm going to share it, is that we have these multiple aspects of ourselves, but the two sort of prominent ones is our inner being, who is the first level of manifested experience of oneness. Say it like that. I mean, there could be many in there, but let's just, for simplicity's sake, say it's like that. And then our inner being stands in our always brilliance, holds the light, shines the light, is calling us to all that we ever desire, calling us to being the fullest expression of all that we are, knows what we came for, knows the theme or the blueprint that we brought with us, knows what will take us best to that, and how it's lining up with our in the moment desires and what aspect of ourselves those are coming from. Meaning, are they coming from just the person in the sense of all the things that we've erroneously picked up on our path and we're trying to now soothe or believe we need to heal, or all of that stuff? Or is it coming from a pure soul inside space, you know, soul energetic field space, that soul space? So there's that part of it. And then there is the next level of that, which I see as being more relevant to this right now lived experience, is awareness is kind of like the stableness of my inner being. It's empty in the sense that it's not the aspect that is constantly flowing the love to me. That's coming from my inner being, which is one aspect. But awareness is the container that holds everything that's happening, that holds the projection that I am projecting outward through my vibration that is being reflected back to me through the law of attraction. But it is unchangeable. It is the purest form of an energy, the purest form of a space. So it is not affected by anything. It is just sort of like the watcher. You know, you hear it referred to as the observer. And you can fall into that state through meditation, through practicing, through even just like being out in nature, and also just being spiritually conscious, spiritually aware and awake, to be attuned to that, so that you can become the observer of your experience and you can stand in that awareness. And this is really, really helpful, because then you're less detached to the next level, which is this character, let's call it a character instead of a person, that you brought in with you to have this experience within the illusion, within this 3D reality. So the character has a body and gets named an identity and believes it has a bunch of emotions and a mind that's filled with thoughts and all these kind of things, often believes in the reality outside of itself and takes its cues from outside of itself as a standard set point, because that's what it's been taught. And also thinks that every experience it ever has is teaching it about what it means to be a person, and often erroneously gets caught up in lack or gets caught up in limitations and beliefs that don't really reflect its true nature. But part of being that character was that kind of play. And so these three, and there's probably many, many more, but these three, let's look at it as these three components of ourselves that we're working with all the time. And to me, I think this is so much more fun and so much more exciting than just saying, I'm going to meditate and fall into oneness again and live there. I mean, this is what feels like tangible. It's like this forward movement, this like constant evolution, this expansion. And so it is coming to a place of the evolution of all of my beingness. So the evolution of my person, my character, the evolution of her mind, the evolution of her perspective, the evolution then of ultimately her projection that she is putting out, always, always, always back, not only backed by source through my inner being, so that I'm constantly being nurtured, I'm constantly being flowed the truth of who I am, I'm constantly being flowed unconditional love. I have all the support I could ever need, and then I have this beautiful space that exists within me that is the truth of my beingness, the space that lasts through multiple expressions of multiple different characters, is that awareness, is that space. And as you develop it, you can step into that space so that you're now, that's the level of, it's not control, but that's the only level of sort of direction that you have within this illusion, through your vibration and through being able to step back from everything so that you can observe your character, so that you can sort of see what's going on with her and help her or him to move further and move closer to the feeling of oneness, closer to that, and also to feel empowered to take control of their creative power and create epic things in this environment. Because once you know that that's what the game's about, then why not be up-leveling your evolution, up-leveling your soul experience of coming home to yourself, and at the same time have that experience be one filled with juicy, delightful, epic beingness, blissness, as much as possible, with the openness to say, you know what, if some experience that's going to really shake that character up, that's okay too, because from awareness, none of it really matters. But then from the level of creation, from creating, how cool is all of it? So it's this simultaneity of so many things where I want to empty as much as I can, and yet at the same time still have some soul-based preferences that guide and lead the creative energy that is me, that I am privileged enough to understand and am consciously flowing into this environment. And then simultaneously to that is just the state of awareness where nothing changes, nothing ever really happens. It's just holding it all, holding it all, holding it all, and can just watch it unfold as if you're just watching a movie, doesn't see anything as better than anything else, doesn't see anything as needing to be different than anything else. And then there's that inner being part that's just constantly in a state of like epic, off the charts bliss. Delighted in you, delighted in the character that you are, because it's the specific essence of source that partnered up with you to have this experience, and it's holding that source space. It's holding that openness, that flow for you to step in and to remember that that's who you really are and to flow from that space. So all of these things operating simultaneously, and how cool it is that you can reference every one of them. You. And it's easy to say, well, no, some people think they're the person, and some people think, no, the important thing is to be awareness, and other people think, no, I need to get in alignment and just always be my inner being. But how cool to know you can be all of that, and one isn't more right than the other. One might feel better than the other because it is more in attunement with the truth of who you really are, which is hard to define. It's hard to say, like, of those things, what truth am I? Because it could be that we're all of it, and so we don't have the words to explain it. And just that awareness is really what true enlightenment is, because true enlightenment is, I'm aware of all of these things at play. I'm aware of my call to evolve within this simultaneity of all of these things, not necessarily favoring or thinking one's better than the other, but just holding to the validity of all of it. So when I look back at my life and I think about the times that none of this stuff would have really even registered for me. I thought I was on a spiritual path, but I thought my spiritual path was just really what boils down to being the best person I can be. Being kind, being loving, flowing and giving of myself in that way, tuning into the highest rightness that I could find, I guess, would be a way to word it, because I don't think that aspect of me saw anything wrong with thinking there was a right and a wrong, in the sense of a right and a wrong. Everybody should be loving, everybody should be caring, everybody should take care of everyone else, in the sense of honoring their right to their feelings, and on and on and on. And so that was relevant at that time, and then it stopped being relevant, and I moved into a different place where I really wanted to own that I was a creator, and that if I align with this inner aspect of myself, because I'm not just a person, I am this energy being underneath this skin, underneath this body. Without this body, I remain as energy. And so how can I tune into that, and from that place own this creatorship that feels so good, because I feel more empowered, and I understand now where the true control, I don't feel like sort of just a leaf in the wind being dragged around by my circumstances. Now I have some set point, some way to bring that to a focal point, and to then direct outward. And I understand the law of attraction. And so that feels really cool, and it feels super empowering and sort of like a relief. And so I sat with that. And then you go one step further and you'd be like, well, just wait a minute. Am I just this? Is this what it's about? And those things start to fall away, and I manifest and they're just empty. And when I think about reaching for more of those sort of stuff or experientially related things, I don't feel like it's in line with the truth of who I am. So as I meditate more, I come into more understanding of who I really am, and this space of awareness that I can also occupy, where it's just still, where there's just stillness that abounds, and everything that is, and it's just perfection. And I'm not so keyed up with what I'm creating. I realize that it's all my creation and it's all beautiful, but I'm not attached to it in any way. I just let it go. And then there's that other part of me that every once in a while kind of completely dips out and goes back into the oneness, just falls into it because it feels so good. Not as a place I want to stay, but certainly as a place to remind myself that's where I came from, and that's ultimately where I'm going to, and that's what I'm made of. And I think all of those components together lead for the spiritual journey, and that's what I'm looking for. So how can I play all those pieces of the puzzle in the most brilliant way? How can I form them all together to have this epic experience, and to take my character to her highest possible evolution expansion in this one incarnation, which then helps my soul, not that my soul needs help, but it helps that whole, this is what we're here for. It helps to be another further expansion of source, of all that is. So anyway, this is the thing that I'm going to dance in, this idea that all of those aspects, and probably many, many more that I didn't even touch on, are available to me. And that's what enlightenment is. Enlightenment is the realization that that is who I am, that I am all those different components simultaneously right now, choosing to focus myself into this physical body, but still having reference points to all of those different things. How cool is that? So it changes everything. And then added on to that is like, it's all an illusion and it's all a projection. And quantum physicists are saying that there's nothing real here, that it is a simulation. So then I can step into that more, and I can start to deconstruct things, which then allows me to tune into the energy of that awareness when I want to play with that. So then it's easier to be detached and to step away from my character more and more and more, because she's just the character. She's just the lead in this play that I'm watching, that I'm ultimately creating, directing, scripting, And then also fine tuning, because there's that improv component of it where as I expand and as I know more and as I evolve more, well, then her character evolves too, and it's changing and changing and changing. But from awareness, it all just sits as brilliant play no matter what. So it's just a funny little thing to play in. It's hard to kind of put words to, because of the simultaneity of it, and because we live in such a concrete seeming duality based reality, this seems a little strange. But just remember, it's not really real. And that's another level and another level. And so we can continue to take all those levels without needing to feel like there's a certain goal to get to, because I just see the journey as the goal, the just ever never ending of evolution of my beingness. And then in response to that, the evolution of all other beingnesses, because we're all one, ultimately to the infinite one. So anyway, if you liked this video, if you like diving into these things, trying to figure stuff out from a conceptual place, from a beingness felt place, just for the fun of it, because remember, it's all just a game and we're just playing a game. But if you really think that that's cool and you like it and it helps and you're looking for a way, isn't there some relief in that story? Isn't there some relief in that concept, in that construct, that all those components of ourselves, and doesn't that feel exciting to sort of explore them all? And I love doing like character explorations of my own character so that I can sort of stand with her, but not of her, and feel what she is going through without being attached to it, and then say, okay, so what is the next thing that we should create that's going to help my character get to the next level of her own expansion? What a cool way to create. Instead of just creating stuff coming from this lackfulness in the person, let's create stuff that's going to take her to knowing who she really is and stand in that awareness as we do it. Cool. So if this is fun for you, if you enjoy this, then again, I invite you to subscribe to my channel, to like this video, to share a comment. Tell me what you think of this. Tell me if this resonates for you, if this is a place that you would like to live. Like, this is how I'm seeing the spiritual journey, step by step by step. And ring that little bell if you want to hear when flow comes through me and I release another video, just so we can play some more. But I'd love to get engaged. So I hope to hear from you soon, and I will see you tomorrow.